Recently, news broke about a popular YouTuber known as Brandon Buckingham. This is a YouTuber known for his collaborations with people like Sam Hyde and other lesser known artists like BB No Money. He's also known for his sort of documentary style videos on the disadvantaged parts of America and other countries. You might have heard of this person from his beefs with Sneeko and potentially even DJ Academics, depending on what sort of community you stem from. You might have heard of this guy again recently because he's kind of made the headlines for his potentially life-threatening medical emergency. Over the last 2 weeks, Brandon Buckingham has been talking about his condition on Instagram and Twitter, stating that he's been dealing with a medical emergency. On November 10th, he was talking about how his condition has been improving. 9 days later, Brandon stated that his doctors believe he has tuberculosis, septic pneumonia, and/or liver failure. Then 2 days later, he states, "In the ICU, my heart is failing, my lungs are failing, my liver and kidneys are failing. Things are not looking good, my friends. I love you guys." After this tweet was posted, a lot of people quickly started speculating that Brandon Buckingham may potentially be on the verge of death. And to be fair, given how Brandon Buckingham talks about his condition, it seems like, yes, this might potentially be a serious issue that he's dealing with. A lot of profiles such as Yeet, more notably, and Dick Serto have posted about Brandon Buckingham's condition, and it became pretty popular news. Amidst the news cycle, Brandon Buckingham did put out a GoFundMe stating that he is currently not in very good condition. 4 days ago, I woke up not knowing where I was, completely deaf, my feet were swollen, and I was in severe pain. I was rushed to the urgent care and eventually the ICU. I was very disoriented and confused. The initial diagnosis was acute systolic heart failure, kidney failure, and liver failure, all things brought on by pneumonia and subsequent sepsis or possibly tuberculosis. The good news is they no longer think I have tuberculosis. The bad news is my heart is still failing and my lungs, liver, and kidney are still in very rough shape. I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I know for sure if I do survive, it will be a very long recovery and I will not be able to provide for my family for at least several months if things go well. A cardiology specialist informed me that I may be on bed rest anywhere for 2 to 4 months as I recover from this very scary, life-threatening illness. I will need help with things like my mortgage, utilities, baby supplies, and the over $100K in medical bill debt I have racked up while dealing with this nightmare. I will also likely need to be on heart medication the rest of my life." At the time of this GoFundMe being posted, he did set a goal for $75,000, but it has drastically overshot its goal by $225,000. So now that we got all of that out of the way, why is this relevant? Brandon Buckingham is no stranger to criticism, seemingly not even while he's on his deathbed. He's been criticized heavily in the past before for producing quote-unquote poverty porn and taking advantage of disadvantaged communities to film ghetto documentaries. And while there are good criticisms to be made about sensationalized social issue-based content lining the pockets of the producer while offering little to no benefit to those afflicted by said social issues, that's not what happened today. So if you're a terminally online loser like me, you might have seen this tweet go viral on Twitter, racking up 1 million views in just 6 hours, and not many people were happy.
It's not even plugged in. Dude, look at the dude. Dude, holy shit. It's not even plugged in. It's not even plugged in. It's not even plugged in. It's not even fucking plugged in. It's not even fucking plugged in. The wires are going to it. The fucking blue wires are going to it, and it's not even fucking plugged in. It's... Oh. Oh. Dude. Dude. I don't know how confident I am it's a scam. But however confident I am, that's gone up like 10%, man. Dude. Yeah, there's no beeping, but he's connected to it with all these wires.
Now, this tweet definitely stirred the hornet's nest as people started flooding in, getting angry for what I consider to be very obvious rage bait, and none of Brandon Buckingham's friends seemed to be too happy. We got Wendigoon saying, "Crazy that he also rented out a hospital for us to visit him in. This goes deeper than we thought." With Doe Jangles, Mudahar's wife, chiming in, "Absolute commitment to a bit." With Green Gary responding, "Oink oink, I have a yummy treat, come and get it." Green Gary did reply to Wendigoon by saying, "Why would I believe you? You lied about Waco. Either post medical documents or stay quiet." And then Kayla Garrett, which happens to be Wendigoon's wife, replies with, "Post an MRI proving you have a brain." Green Gary replies with, "Your husband hangs out with pedophiles. You should not have children with him / keep your children away from him." Kayla quote tweeted Gary, Possibly fake hospital set. Girl, you aren't even defaming right. At least say it with your chest, queen. Oompaville says, I can't believe you're a real person. Haha, so fucking stupid and evil. Green Gary replies with, how many children did Nux Taku expose to porn while you co-hosted a podcast with him? Do you think more or less hundreds? Thousands? Random Twitter user says, you know what I think? I think he got sick on purpose. I think he had a baby on purpose, too, in order to scam. It has all been orchestrated methodically. Green Gary replies with, this is possible, but I don't know enough about his wife and kid to say definitely. Green Gary would make 2 follow-up tweets saying, Brandon, we will be running a train on your wife once you kick the bucket to keep her company. Choo choo. Also, your kid looks mentally disabled. I don't know why you feel comfortable posting pics of him online. Call a doctor about him before it's too late, which is absolutely foul. Now, hopping off Twitter, Green Gary actually would go on to debate this entire situation with famous Jewish creator Aiden Underground, and here are some clips.
Okay, I would like to show, I mean, it is a minor point, but I would like to demonstrate that at the very least we know Brandon Buckingham is willing to lie about his own statements, such as in the Sneeko controversy, wherein he obviously insinuated he wanted to rape Sneeko's girlfriend and then backed off on it, like the pussy-ass bitch he is. Additionally, I would like to point as evidence towards the fact that Brandon is an unreliable person.
Okay, you just
his
that wasn't a
content in
lie.
of itself.
You're gish galloping. That wasn't
That was a lie.
That's not
That
a
was
lie.
a lie. That was a lie. I'm saying he mischaracterized something. So he's going to mischaracterize in other situations.
where was the mischaracterization?
Basically, Brandon said he would run a train on Sneeko's girlfriend, insinuating he would want to violently rape her. And then when Sneeko pointed this out, you could say that sorry for Sneeko's point out, fair enough. But when Sneeko pointed it out, he said, no, not me, because he is an F-slur.
Now, to be clear, not like it matters, but Brandon very clearly in that Instagram story post that he's referencing did say whole gang is gonna run a train on her like she asked us to. So, I mean, whatever.
You're now claiming that there's a real possibility, or a likely, like more likely than not, that he is the hospital is a set. It's fake, right?
I think, I don't know if I'd say more likely than not. I'd say...
It seems like you were sawing out over shit not being plugged in. It seems like that's what you've been insinuating for like the last 24 hours.
I'd say if it is a real hospital, then the hospital itself should be investigated. That's what I would say. The jug is called Medical City Healthcare. That's like calling it Hospital City Healthcare. Like what, like template default name one healthcare. Like that's the fakest bug of all time. I looked it up. So I think Brandon's from Texas. There are different Medical City Healthcares, but none of them share that font.
Hold on. So you I'm sorry. So are we now proposing that he had this fake mug printed out as well to like further like suggest that it's a hospital?
No, I don't think he printed it out. I think that's like part of the set. It's like he's renting a set. And that's like part of it. And I'm saying it's absurd to believe there's a real hospital.
Not to lay out like the incredibly obvious here or to just make like a duh statement, but I mean, come on. It's more than likely that there's just like a lot of rage bait going on here and that it just managed to so far piss a lot of people off that should have not fallen for this bait. I mean, let's be real here. We got people like Wendigoon and Oompaville commenting on this just because they can't keep their hands off their phones to defend their best friend for a second. We even got Wendigoon's wife. I mean, like, let's be for real here. If this is rage bait, it's probably one of the funniest cases that I've seen on Twitter in like the last year, considering how stale it's been since Ethan Klein decided to sue everyone and anybody. But on a more legitimate point, on a more serious note, there is a legitimate concern here that Brandon Buckingham might be maximizing the amount of money that he gets from his fans, obviously being distraught at the fact that he's currently fighting for his life in a hospital. Unless you want to believe Brandon Buckingham at his word, it might be very difficult to believe that he's actually being afflicted by all of these things that he mentioned. In good faith, I won't contest that, so it's one of those situations where you really just have to do your due diligence and choose to do something or not. So if you want to donate, up to you. If you don't want to donate because there's something off here, again, up to you. If people want to give Brandon Buckingham hundreds of thousands of dollars, they made a conscious decision to do that. So ultimately, it's not a bad thing to question the things around you and to have a fair share of skepticism and to make sure that everything that you're doing online has a level of validity to it. And to be clear, I'm not saying that Brandon Buckingham is lying or that he doesn't need the money or that he's pulling some sort of scam. That's not what I'm saying at all. Rather, I'm saying that when it comes to situations like these, having a fair bit of skepticism isn't entirely unrealistic. However, when so many people get rage baited by a situation like this, it's incredibly difficult to actually make criticisms like that without people looking at you in a sideways way. However, this is one of those cases where, unfortunately, or rather fortunately because of how entertaining it is, something dumb on the internet just happened to get everybody riled up, and now we're seeing a little bit of a cascading effect. But that's literally all for today. This was a dumb, pointless short video, and I got nothing left. So, later.